If she truly loves you, she will not chase you. Stoicism, Old Stoic Wisdom. Love is not about possession. It is about appreciation. Osho. In a world where everything is on demand, where meals show up with a tap, replies are expected in seconds, and validation comes in the form of likes, men have been trained to equate speed with sincerity. But when it comes to real love, true connection isn't found in the rush. It's revealed in the stillness. You see, when she stops texting, calling, or reacting, the modern man immediately panics. He scrambles for meaning, scrolls through old conversations, and lets anxiety take the wheel. But the wise man, the Stoic, understands something deeper. He knows that not all silence is rejection. Sometimes it's a test. Sometimes it's her way of stepping back to see if your presence carries substance, or if it collapses the moment attention fades. A woman who truly loves you doesn't need to chase. She needs to feel, and she cannot feel when you're constantly flooding her space with need, fear, and pursuit. Real affection grows in mystery, in presence, in power held, not in words or texts, but in your calm, your center. You must realize a man who lives by purpose does not chase. He leads, he holds, he waits, not passively but powerfully. The more still you stand, the more gravity you build. The more rooted you become, the more she senses something different about you, something she cannot find in the men who chase her, flatter her, or fear her distance. The modern man thinks love is earned through constant interaction, but the ancient wisdom tells us the man who is hardest to shake is the man who is hardest to forget. Ask yourself, are you reacting from lack or responding from power? Are you chasing attention, or are you living in a way that naturally commands it? Let her silence refine you, not define you, because the man who knows his worth never begs for reminders of it. He becomes a reminder of it. And in time, she will see, not because you pursued her, but because you didn't have to. Number 1. Modern dating has made men weak. Modern dating has trained men to seek validation instead of embodying strength, and this conditioning has quietly eroded their inner fortitude. We now live in an era where everything is immediate. One click delivers food, a message, a dopamine hit, and because of that, when a woman takes a little too long to respond, panic often sets in. The average man, without realizing it, spirals, double texting, obsessing, wondering if he's done something wrong. But here's what he doesn't know, that silence may not be rejection. In fact, in many cases it's a subconscious test, a mirror being held up to your emotional maturity. A woman isn't always asking with words, she's asking with space. And her question is simple. Will you stay grounded in your masculinity, or will you crumble into insecurity the moment attention slips away? This is where the wisdom of the old Stoics comes in. Seneca once said, "He who is brave is free." That kind of inner freedom, the ability to remain steady and self-contained even in the unknown, is what separates men who attract true respect from those who merely chase affection. It's not about ghosting or playing cold-hearted games. It's about being so rooted in your purpose, your vision, and your sense of self-worth that you don't need constant confirmation to feel valued. Because a man whose self-esteem is at the mercy of a woman's text message is not a man who inspires desire. He triggers discomfort. The truth is, if your entire emotional state wavers based on how a woman engages with you, she'll feel it. She'll sense that your confidence is a costume, not your core. And no matter how kind, how funny, or how charming you are, if your inner world crumbles when hers goes quiet, she cannot truly respect you. Women don't fall in love with men who chase. They fall in love with men who stand still, who know their worth is not up for negotiation. They crave men who possess what is most rare in today's world, emotional discipline. Think about the men who are most magnetic, the ones who move with quiet certainty, who don't explain themselves or ask for reassurance. These are men who are deeply committed to their mission, and because they don't flinch when a woman pulls away, they trigger a far deeper response. It's not confusion, it's curiosity. It's not rejection, it's respect. A woman begins to wonder, why doesn't he need me to validate him? What is it about him that feels so complete? That energy, the energy of a man who isn't fazed, is irresistible. It makes her lean in without knowing why. The truth is, modern dating has made many men forget their power. But if you want to be different, if you want to reclaim your strength, it starts with how you respond to silence. Remember this: silence isn't punishment, it's a mirror, and how you react to it reveals everything about your emotional foundation. So let me leave you with this. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. That's from Marcus Aurelius. And if there's one thing every high-value man must learn, it's this: if she truly loves you, she will not need to chase you. Because love, when it's real, doesn't need to chase. It recognizes. It respects. It responds to strength, not neediness. So if you've ever wondered why pulling back sometimes pulls her closer, now you know. It's not manipulation. It's magnetism. It's you showing that your peace is not negotiable. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever experienced a moment when a woman pulled back, and your reaction either made her stay or walk away? Share your story in the comments below, and let's learn from each other, because the man who holds steady in silence becomes the one she can't stop thinking about. Number 2, the more you chase, the less she feels. A truth that stands strong, not just in modern relationships, but throughout time, echoed in ancient Stoic wisdom, and confirmed by the deepest human psychology. In a world where movies, social media, and romantic clichés urge men to chase, to pursue relentlessly, to wear their hearts on their sleeves in hopes of earning love, we've lost sight of something essential. Genuine attraction is never sparked by neediness. It's built by presence. When you chase a woman excessively, you send an unspoken message that your worth depends on her validation, that, deep down, you're not whole without her. This is where everything starts to fall apart. Women are emotionally intelligent and deeply intuitive. Whether they realize it or not, they feel the energy behind your actions. And when your energy screams, "Please choose me," it drains the excitement, the tension, and the mystery that attraction needs to breathe. A man rooted in himself doesn't need to prove anything. He doesn't need to convince her to stay. He simply is, present, stable, content. And that presence, that calm, inner confidence, radiates far more than any grand gesture or late-night text could. When you chase, you place her on a pedestal. You turn her into the prize. But you are not meant to worship her. You're meant to walk beside her as an equal. Old Stoic wisdom reminds us, a man who is content with little possesses everything. The more you need from her, the less she feels drawn to you. Why? Because you're placing your happiness in her hands, and that's a burden no one wants to carry. Women aren't attracted to men who are begging for love. They are drawn to men who are already full, men with purpose, with passion, with vision. When you stop chasing, you shift the dynamic. You stop trying to win her, and instead, you let her wonder about you. That pause, your silence, creates space for her curiosity, for her emotions, and for her desire to grow. This doesn't mean being cold or aloof. It means standing still in your strength. Think of the Stoic Marcus Aurelius, who wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." So let me ask you, are you chasing because you want her, or because you need her to make you feel worthy? When you ground yourself in your purpose, in your truth, in your own internal compass, you stop needing external confirmation. You become magnetic. Your presence alone speaks volumes. I am enough. Her love would be a blessing, not a requirement. And that's when something remarkable happens. She begins to feel that pull. She starts to see a man who is not just present, but powerful in his stillness. A man who's not waiting for her to call, but is building his life, owning his story, and walking a path of wisdom. The moment you stop chasing, you invite her to pursue, not because you played a game, but because you remembered your worth. True attraction is born in the space between need and indifference, in that beautiful tension where curiosity meets mystery, where respect breeds desire. So, brother, hold your ground. Let her feel the calm force of a man who doesn't need to chase, because he already knows who he is. Let your silence speak. Let your purpose shine. And if this resonates with you, leave a comment below. I am the man who stands still and lets the world come to him. Number 3. Her silence is not punishment. It is a divine invitation for you to rise. In a world where men are conditioned to respond instantly, to chase, to fix, to apologize for being themselves, the silence of a woman feels like a threat. But it's not. It's a mirror. It reflects not her rejection, but your readiness. When she stops texting, stops calling, and pulls back, most men collapse into a state of panic. They lose their center. They interpret silence as rejection, not as the sacred space it truly is. The average man scrambles, bombards her with messages, and seeks her validation like a beggar seeking bread. But that's not love. It's insecurity wearing a mask. Understand this. Her silence is not punishment. It is a test. And more than that, it is your opportunity to become the man you are meant to be. Emotional dependency is a cancer to masculine power. Every time you chase after her attention, you are handing her your worth on a silver platter. You are saying, without you, I don't know who I am. That is not attractive. That is not stoic. That is weakness disguised as affection. The man who wins in love is not the one who reacts, but the one who responds from strength. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." When a woman goes silent, she is watching. Not your words, but your energy. She wants to see if you'll crumble. She wants to know if your foundation is real. The weak man falls. The strong man stands. You must be the latter. You must let her silence echo, but not within your mind. Let it echo in the space where you rise, refocus, and rebuild. When she goes quiet, don't chase her. Chase excellence. Chase your mission. Go to the gym. Grow your business. Sharpen your skills. Let her see that your peace does not come from her presence, but from the life you are building with or without her. This is not coldness. This is clarity. This is what true masculine energy looks like, composed, grounded, and unbothered by temporary shifts. Because the man who does not flinch in silence commands attention without speaking. That's the kind of man women respect and desire. Remember, women do not fall in love with the man who needs them. They fall in love with the man they can't shake, the man whose silence is louder than 1,000 words, the man who does not crumble when she pulls away. Instead, he becomes even more focused, even more powerful. He lets her go and trusts that if she's meant to return, she will. If not, he knows that he never needed her to begin with. That's the power of detachment. That's the core of Stoicism. Epictetus said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." Her silence? It's not your job to fix. It's your chance to reflect. Because when you stop reacting and start leading, she will notice. When you don't panic, she will wonder. When you rise instead of chase, she will respect you. That's the paradox. The less you need her, the more she feels drawn to you. Why? Because your value no longer depends on her response. It radiates from within. The man who walks forward in silence, unfazed, becomes the man she can't forget. You are that man. You are the storm behind the calm, the fire behind the silence. You are the man who leads by stillness, not noise. So let her go silent. Let her wonder. Let her feel the weight of your absence, not because you vanished, but because you elevated. You don't need to chase her. You need to chase greatness. And the man who chases greatness will always attract what is meant for him. Your worth is not in the chase. It is in your stillness. It is in your focus. It is in your refusal to be shaken. Let your silence speak. Let your growth roar. And if this message struck a chord with you, then drop a comment right now. My silence is my strength. Like this video, subscribe for more unshakable wisdom, and remind yourself daily, real power doesn't panic. It builds. Number 4. A man who lacks purpose will always be desperate. A man without purpose is like a ship without a compass, adrift, vulnerable, and at the mercy of every wave that crashes against him. In modern relationships, one of the most critical and overlooked truths is this: if a man lacks direction, he becomes emotionally enslaved to the attention of a woman, mistaking her affection as a measurement of his value. Old Stoic wisdom reminds us, he who is brave is free, and freedom begins with purpose. When a man doesn't know why he wakes up every day, when he has no mission greater than his need for connection, he hands over his emotional well-being to the one person he should never depend on for it: a woman. The moment she pulls away, he spirals. Suddenly, her silence feels like rejection. He overtexts, overanalyzes, and bends his entire behavior in a desperate bid to regain her interest, not realizing that with every needy move, he chips away at her respect. A man with purpose, however, radiates a different frequency. He is not waiting for her reply. He's focused on his work, his mission, his personal evolution. His value doesn't fluctuate with the attention he receives. It is forged in the fire of commitment to something bigger than himself. Women are wired to respect this kind of man, not because he's cold, but because he's complete. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." And the good man, the strong man, is the one who stands firm in his purpose, not the one who trembles when a message goes unread. You see, when your identity is tied to her approval, you've already lost control. If her silence crushes you, it's because you've placed her above your mission. You've let your emotional center drift from your own soul to hers. That's not love. That's imbalance. And imbalance breeds chaos. A woman may enjoy attention, but she loses respect for a man who collapses emotionally every time she withdraws. She isn't drawn to anxiety, she's drawn to strength, to clarity, to a man who, even in her absence, is still building, still leading, still climbing his own mountain. When you anchor yourself in purpose, you create emotional stability. You stop obsessing over messages. You stop reacting to silence. Instead, you become the man who inspires her, not the one who drains her. And ironically, when you stop chasing, that's often when she starts noticing, because you've become the man who is unshakable, not because you're indifferent, but because you're already full. You don't need her to feel worthy. You don't need to chase. You're too busy fulfilling your destiny. And that, my brother, is the real secret. Purpose is the silent power that makes women take notice. So ask yourself, what are you waking up for? What legacy are you building? What fire are you stoking when no one is watching? Because when your soul is driven by a higher mission, you become the man she doesn't want to lose. As Friedrich Nietzsche once said, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." Reclaim your power by living for your why, and the right woman won't have to be chased. She'll come to stand beside you, not because you begged, but because you built something she can believe in. If this message strikes a chord with you, I want to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment right now. My mission is my magnet. Let's talk about what purpose means to you. Your future self is waiting. Don't keep him waiting any longer. Number 5. She feels your weakness before you even show it. This timeless truth stands at the core of Old Stoic wisdom, where strength is measured not by the loudness of your voice, but by the calmness of your presence. And a man's power is often revealed not through what he says, but through what he silently endures. In the intricate dance of masculine and feminine energy, a woman perceives what is unspoken. Long before you utter a word or send a text, she senses the tremble in your spirit. Your energy precedes your actions, is the invisible signal you broadcast to the world, and to her, it's louder than your words. You may think you're hiding your insecurities behind composed messages or calculated gestures, but a woman tuned into her emotional intelligence will feel the change in your emotional current like a sudden drop in air pressure before a storm. She can sense it in the way your voice hesitates, in the way your eyes linger too long, in the subtle tension in your shoulders when she takes a bit longer to reply. And this ability isn't magic. It's instinct, sharpened through generations. Just as Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The impediment to action advances action." What stands in the way becomes the way. So too does your weakness become the doorway through which your true character is tested. Her sensitivity to emotional instability isn't manipulation. It's her way of assessing whether your strength is real or borrowed, whether your presence brings her calm or chaos. And when your internal world starts to quake, even before you act on it, she knows, and in that moment, she doesn't attack you, but instead withdraws. Not because she wants to hurt you, but because she needs to know whether your stability can be trusted. This is why the man who loses himself when she becomes distant confirms her deepest fear, that his strength was never his own. But if you embody stoic resolve and resist the pull to chase, if you stay grounded when she steps back, you display the kind of unwavering presence that speaks louder than 1,000 apologies. Do not misinterpret her silence as rejection. See it as a mirror, reflecting back the emotional posture you carry. If you seek constant reassurance, if you over-communicate in fear, she won't feel loved, she'll feel burdened. A woman seeks a man who is emotionally self-sufficient, who doesn't crumble under silence but stands taller because of it. Seneca once said, "Sometimes even to live is an act of courage, and in relationships, sometimes even to wait in silence without fear is an act of courage. When she pulls back, that's not your cue to panic, it's your chance to prove your core. The difference between a boy and a stoic man is this: the boy reacts, the stoic man reflects. Instead of questioning your worth, hold the line. Instead of flooding her inbox, flood your life with purpose. Let your calm become louder than your desperation, and let your restraint become proof of your inner strength. Your emotional stillness in moments of uncertainty is your most attractive quality. It is what tells her, this man doesn't need me to complete him, he is already whole. And that kind of man, he doesn't just attract women, he captivates them. He leaves a lasting mark that lingers long after the silence ends. So, the next time you feel the urge to reach out in desperation, to prove your worth with frantic action, stop, breathe, stand still. Let your silence speak of your unshakable worth. Because true strength isn't proven by how loudly you fight for her attention, it's revealed in how quietly you can walk through the storm without losing your ground. And if this message resonates with you, drop a comment below. My silence is strength. My presence is power. Let's hear from the men who know that a grounded heart will always be more attractive than a desperate hand. Number 6. The most attractive men are unavailable, not ignored. In this chaotic age of instant gratification and constant connection, the most attractive men are not those who chase, plead, or make themselves constantly available. They are the ones who remain centered, grounded, and purpose-driven. Modern dating has twisted our understanding of attraction, making men believe that availability equals desirability. But real power lies in scarcity, not because you're playing games, but because your time is devoted to something greater than fleeting affection. As Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." The man who is unavailable is not ignoring her. He is invested in building a life so fulfilling, so focused, so meaningful, that anyone who steps into it can feel the gravity of his presence. He's not constantly checking his phone, waiting for her reply, or rearranging his mission to seek validation from someone else. No, he chooses himself. He chooses his discipline. He chooses his legacy. And in doing so, he becomes rare, uncommon, valuable. This is the paradox of masculine attraction. The more you center your life around your mission, the more women want to be part of your orbit, not because you chase them, but because your energy is sovereign. It's masculine. It's whole. Women don't want a man who is constantly available. They want a man who is constantly becoming, one who doesn't beg for her time, but makes her want to earn a place in his world. Because when a man becomes emotionally over-available, he loses the mystery. He signals dependence. He communicates that he's waiting to be chosen instead of being the chooser. And women, whether they admit it or not, can feel it. They can smell the imbalance, the neediness, the anxiety. And nothing kills attraction faster than a man who waits around hoping for a text back, rather than forging forward like a king expanding his kingdom. Be the man whose absence speaks louder than his presence. Be the man whose mission is so compelling that she wonders, how can I be part of that? Your purpose must be bigger than her validation, because the moment you need her more than your mission, you've already lost your edge. The Stoics understood this well. As Epictetus said, freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. That includes her attention, her reactions, and her emotions. Focus instead on what you control, your discipline, your ambition, your path. When she sees you doing that, she won't feel neglected, she'll feel drawn in, she'll respect you more, she'll admire you more, because your value isn't in how much you give, it's in how much you protect. Your attention, your energy, your presence, it's not cheap, it's earned. So stand tall, stay focused, and let your unavailability be your power, not your excuse. Because if she truly sees your worth, she will chase your energy, not because you asked, but because you became undeniable. If you agree, drop this in the comments. My presence is earned, not given. Like this video, subscribe for more timeless Stoic wisdom, and remember, a man on a mission never begs for attention, he commands it. Number 7. You are not losing her, you are being measured. This is not just a moment in your relationship. It's the moment that reveals the man you really are. You see, when a woman emotionally withdraws, when her presence fades into the background and the warmth of her attention begins to cool, it's easy to mistake that silence for rejection. Most men rush in, driven by fear. They flood her phone with texts. They apologize for things they never did. They scramble to fill the silence, hoping that words can fix what they don't understand. But here's the truth. That silence is not a signal that you've lost her. It's a sacred test. As Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. And this is exactly what she's watching for, your strength. A woman doesn't distance herself to punish you. She does it to see if you are the kind of man who can hold his emotional center when things feel uncertain. She steps back to observe, to evaluate, to measure your emotional weight. She's not just reacting emotionally, she's instinctively seeking stability. She wants to feel that the man beside her won't crumble under pressure, won't panic when faced with uncertainty, and won't chase validation when she pauses. This is where the masculine must lead with calm. If you respond to her distance with desperation, you confirm her fears, that your confidence was only surface deep, that your calm depended on her attention, and that without her, you fall apart. That kind of energy doesn't attract, it repels. Women feel the weight of emotional dependence as a burden, not as love. But if you hold your position like a mountain, steady, still, and strong, you communicate something rare and powerful. I am not shaken by your silence. I am not defined by your affection. I am whole on my own. And this message echoes in a woman's mind far louder than any plea ever could. She starts to question. She reconsiders. She wonders why you're so calm, so unbothered, so focused. That silent power makes her look inward. The very absence of your reaction creates the presence of your strength. Remember what Epictetus said. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Your Stoic response is the reaction that defines whether you are a man of momentary charm or lasting power. The man who wins her deepest respect is not the one who chases, but the one who stands still, knowing that what's truly meant to stay will come, not because it was begged, but because it was drawn to strength. In this game of masculine presence and feminine emotion, silence becomes your sword and calm becomes your armor. So don't panic, don't explain, don't try to win her back with frantic energy. Let your life speak louder than your lips. Stay rooted in your purpose. Keep building, keep rising. Let her see that you are a man who walks forward, not one who waits in emotional chains. You are not being abandoned, you are being evaluated. And if you understand this, then you already hold the key to passing her deepest test. Now, I want to hear your thoughts. Comment below. My silence is my power. I will not chase. I will be chosen through strength. Drop your truth in the comments and let's talk. Thank you for watching, my friend. If this message spoke to something deep inside you, that's no coincidence. This truth has been waiting for you. And here's my advice to you, man to man, stop measuring your worth by how much attention she gives you. A woman's silence is not your signal to chase. It's your moment to rise. Real strength isn't loud. It's quiet, unshakable, present. So the next time she pulls away, don't rush in. Stand tall, breathe deep. Let her feel what it means to be in the presence of a man who doesn't need to chase. Because he is the prize. You're not here to impress. You're here to embody. You don't need to force love. When you walk in strength, respect follows. So keep building your life, keep protecting your peace, and keep showing up as the man you were always meant to be. If this resonated with you, hit that like button, share this with a brother who needs it, and subscribe for more timeless wisdom. Until next time, stay grounded, stay noble, and never forget, true power never begs. It simply is.